part of this week's Glanbia Ireland Dairy Focus Vodcast. We'll be talking to Don Crowley from Teagasc on milk recording as a key decision-making tool on farm. We'll be talking to Brendan Walsh, a member of our milk quality team, on teat care, and myself, Maeve Regan, on grassland management advice and tips in current scenarios playing out on farm. Firstly, we'll hear from Don Crowley of Teagasc on milk recording, its benefits, and as a key decision-making tool on farm.
We're here today to talk about milk recording and its role in your business, and just a few housekeeping issues that are happening from a Selcom point of view at the moment. With milk price at the moment, there's a lot of emphasis on cutting costs and manage your costs to keep a margin for running the family and running your business. Do not drop milk recording to cut your costs. Use milk recording to cut your costs. If you look at the better herds, if you look at any herd, an average herd, the gap between the best and the worst cow can be quite significant. The best cow can be 600 kilos of milk solids, the poorest cow can be 350 kilos of milk solids, taking the heifers out of it. This is 12 to 1500 euros difference between one cow. That's paying for your milk recording. It's a very, very productive cost to identify the poorest and the best cows within your herd. If you look at the better herds that are happening at the moment, the gap between their best and their worst cow is very narrow because they've used milk recording over the years. With antimicrobial resistance that's there and the restrictions on antibiotics coming down the tracks, as we're seeing as farmers anyway, plus the selective dry cow coming in January 2022, milk recording is absolutely crucial. You look at the reports it can do for you. You can rank the cows from the best to the worst cows on cell count in the problem cow report sheet. I start with the Cell Check Farm Summary Sheet because it analyses last year's dry cow, my cure rate, my new infection rate, how did my heifers do. I go to the Farm Summary Sheet then, it looks at the heifers according to lactation, so I could see the first calvers, the second calvers, the third and the fourth plus. How are they doing as different groups? Then I go to the Problem Cow Sheet, which ranks the cows from the best to the worst, giving the percentage contribution to the bulk tank because it's taking into account the yield of the cow. Was she a problem last year? Is she a problem this year? Is she a potential that I should be culling? Is she causing a lot of damage to the herd? And these are all productive. It's a hugely productive cost to manage your business in the present climate that we're in at the moment. There's a tab inside an ICBF if you're on Herd Plus for profiles. And in the profile section, you can look at the cows, you can rank them from the best protein to the worst, cell count, yield, kgs of milk solids. You have a massive analysis you can do in your business. Just a few housekeeping issues at the moment. We're seeing a good bit of strep mastitis at the moment. Strep uberous mastitis, it impacts low cell count cows in low cell count herds predominantly. 1 or 2 days after bulling, cows comes in our farm, watery type milk coming to milk. If I miss her, I have a very sick cow in 12 hours. It's an environmental mastitis picked up from the environment. There is a contagious nature to it, but mainly the cubicles are the source. You gotta pick them up early, you gotta treat them hard, use an anti-inflammatory, talk to your vet about that. Don't underestimate the pain associated with this. Pre-spraying is a help, pre-spraying your glove to stop you from spreading it if you're checking cows for fears. That mitigates against you spreading it. Dip the clusters after infected cows. An infected liner will spread to the next 8 cows. Staph aureus is another type of mastitis. It causes subclinical mastitis. This is mastitis I can't see. High cell count, but the sock is as clear as a whistle. So I have an infected cow that I don't know, I can't see her, so it's milk recording is my only opportunity to find that cow. But she's highly infective. She will spread it to the next 8 cows, and that's what causes the rise in the cell count towards the end of lactation. And if we look at any year like 2009, 2012, 2016, the farmers that dropped milk recording really paid a price with these type of infections afterwards. Glanbia are offering a fantastic service for culture and sensitivity. Get the pack from the lads, get your culture and sensitivity done. They're valid for 4 months if you freeze them. Get a teat spray with a fly repellent because it's brilliant to keep away the flies, but make sure it's 15 mils per cow per milking to get you good coverage on the teat bar.
As many people kick off first cut silage this week, we look at current grassland management tips and advice as different scenarios and cases play out across the region. Looking at Pasture-Based Ireland figures this week, current average growth stands at 69 kilos of dry matter per hectare per day, with an average demand on those Pasture-Based Ireland farms of 61 kilos of dry matter per hectare per day. The vast majority of farms, again, there continues to be an amount of surplus grass. growth is high, growth is exceeding demand, and plenty surplus grass is being taken out in those cases. Although average pasture-based Ireland growth rates recorded this week are on par with those achieved this week last year in 2019, there are a small number of areas currently experiencing soil moisture deficit in localised pockets. In these cases where growth has been seen to slow, it's important to walk the farm more regularly, ideally twice weekly, to assess grass growth and availability and make good timely decisions. It's also important to hold your rotation length at 20 to 25 days and that your demand matches your growth on the milking platform. To decrease demand in order to match current growth rates being achieved on the grazing platform at the moment, it's important to consider reducing the stocking rate on the platform. How to reduce that is by removing surplus stock or reconsidering bringing back in some silage ground that had been previously closed as surplus. Another way of reducing demand to be considered is increasing supplementation or reintroducing a buffer feed. Now we'll hear from Brendan Walsh, a member of our milk quality team, covering teat care this week.
Teat disinfectant is an integral part of good milking practice, and adequate teat care is vital in any mastitis control programme to reduce bacteria, improve teat skin condition, and ultimately to produce high quality milk. The full benefit of teat disinfectant is only achieved when it is applied efficiently and effectively. The two most common forms of teat disinfecting are teat dipping and teat spraying. The objective in both methods is to get full coverage of the teat disinfectant on the teat end and right up to the base of the udder. Application should be carried out between the legs for safety reasons and application accuracy. Aim to apply 15 ml of teat disinfectant per cow per milking. If pre-spraying or dipping, thorough drying of the teats with paper towel should be carried out prior to attaching the clusters. Sprayer nozzles should be checked regularly for an accurate spraying. A wide nozzle spray will result in better contact of the teat disinfectant on the teat skin. Use paper towel to check sprayer accuracy. The dip cup and container should be rinsed out daily to ensure that no used disinfectant remains in the cup. If the teat disinfectant is being decanted from a larger container into a smaller drum, it is recommended that the drum be rinsed out between refills.
For more information on all topics covered in this week's Glanbia Ireland Dairy Focus Vodcast, contact your local Glanbia representative or log on to glanbiaconnect.com.